Hello, Jeremy. Welcome to Wake Up with Marci.
Thanks for having me, Marci.
So, Jeremy, you have gone through a lot. I know that you almost were faced with death and you lost your business. And can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, Marci. So the short version of that story is we think what triggered this all was a reaction to a medication, which then triggered an autoimmune condition, which almost killed me. I spent the next 2 years on my deathbed. My business obviously dwindled down to nothing. I went through a lot of really difficult times through that, struggled with, all of the things that come along with that. But in that process, I learned not only how to reframe my mind, which was really important because I thought up to that point that I was already mentally tough. This took it to an entirely different level. So I had to figure out how to kind of make these adaptations in the process. But, there was a silver lining that came out of that, which, we could talk about a little bit more as we get a little bit further into this.
Right. So, because this has happened to you, now you are helping others.
Yes.
From what you have learned and experienced. So let's talk about developing the right mindset when we are faced with such tremendous adversity in life.
Absolutely. So, ultimately the mindset is everything for this. We can overcome almost anything that we're faced with as long as we have the right mindset. But without the right mindset, that's just not going to happen. And we see this all the time. We see people go through unbelievable hardships and go through it fine. We see other people who are faced with the slightest adversity and they just crumble. So it all comes down to the mindset. So one of the things that I find really helpful is really taking control of our emotions. So where I find a good mindset around this is realizing the fact that, first of all, this is just a biochemical reaction. It doesn't mean anything other than the meaning that we assign to the feelings that we have. On top of that, anything that we're going through, whether we're having a positive emotion or a negative emotion, that's going to pass, right? And it's going to go on to the next emotion, whatever the next thing is. So as bad as something may be in the moment, it's not going to stay that way. And then gratitude is another thing that I found really helpful for taking control of your emotions. When you're sitting here thinking about all the things that you have and the things that you've achieved and the people in your life, it really makes it hard to be in a foul mood and have negativity.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, talking about our emotions, and, I love that you're talking about positivity and how important our mindset is and how much control we actually have over that. And if we continue to give more time to a negative emotion, it's just going to build it. So if we do start heading down that way, we can actually change the thought, just like you're saying, like move into some gratitude.
Absolutely.
So great advice. And so let's talk about challenges. Life gives us small challenges and big challenges. So what can we do to push through them?
The most important thing I found really is to have a mission. So when I was at what I would say was the darkest point in all of this, I got to a point where I'm a Marine veteran, so it probably wouldn't surprise you to know that I have a number of firearms, and they're all over the house. But I remember I would be walking around the house and just in tremendous pain. And not that I wanted to die, but I would see one of these guns somewhere and think, well, that would be an easy way out. I started having these thoughts a lot more than I was comfortable with. And right around that time, one of the toughest Marines that I ever served with took his life. And for me, that was a sign, right? Because I know what I've overcome. I know what I've been through and what I've persevered through. And I know how I was feeling at this point. And then in looking at the fact that he took his life and I know how tough he was, I knew that it could happen to anyone. And, within the veterans community, we're losing 22 veterans a day to suicide. So I started getting very vocal about what I was going through, how I was feeling, fear, uncertainty, doubt, all of this stuff, and just putting it out there. And that almost became, that became a mission for me, right? Because I'm out here sharing this so that other people realize that they're not alone. Well, now I'm up here and I'm basically a a role model or a figurehead that's inspiring other people to continue pushing through their challenges, right? And I've got so many messages, DMs, phone calls, etc., from not only the people that I've counseled directly, right? My number's been passed out to so many people. Everyone in my network knows that they can give my number to anyone who's struggling. So those people obviously have told me how that has helped them, but also even people I've never met on social media have DM'd me talking about how the things that I've talked about have helped them. So that mission really played a huge role, not only in helping those people, but also in helping myself, because that gets you out of bed, that gets you through the challenges, because it's not about you. It's about the mission. It's about other people. It's so much bigger than you.
100%. So tell us how we can find out more, reach you, if someone out there is in need of you. Tell us exactly how we can find you and get more information.
I'm an easy guy to find. I'm a digital marketer. So if you Google my name, I'm going to show up somewhere. People can connect with me on social media or go through my website, spartanmedia.com. I'm an easy guy to find. Anyone can find me.
That's great. And you're also helping people that are going through chronic pain. Can you help them too?
Yeah, I counsel a lot of people. I'm kind of like a sounding board. Counsel, I don't know if that's the right term, but I'm basically an open door to anyone who needs to vent or needs advice or whatever when they're going through some kind of severe adversity or, considering suicide or anything like that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. And again, like turning around what you went through to now help others. So it's a wonderful thing. So thank you for coming on the show, Jeremy.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.